Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their Sunday. That's right, folks. Today is Sunday, and we've got an exciting show for you today, folks. Now, Silverstruck, our good friend, our vintage lover, over on the other side of the country here, he is one of our favorite channels to watch, and I truthfully never miss a Silverstruck upload. So if you're not following Silverstruck, that's the first order of business, is you got to go ahead and follow that guy, because he'll upload some awesome videos when it comes down to vintage. So if you're a vintage lover, then you don't want to miss any of those episodes. They're just really, truthfully, really great episodes, and he goes over some very interesting stuff. Now, one of the very interesting pieces that he went over, which happens to be a piece that I also collect, was this awesome whopper of a round. It was a 10-ounce silver round that was actually featuring the Statue of Liberty on it, just like this one that you see here in front of us. And it was actually a special round because that was actually a round that was produced in the, probably in the 80s. Yeah, actually definitely in the 80s by Matthey. Now, Matthey is a company that everybody is aware of, and perhaps these Statue of Liberty rounds, like the one that Silverstruck showed on his channel last week, are also rounds that people are familiar with. I know, there are staple products on our site, really, are the Matthey and Engelhard MTB Liberty rounds. Now, MTB stands for Manfra Tordella Brookes, and so that's something that I believe Silverstruck went over on his channel. Manfra Tordella Brookes, they had basically a series of bars and rounds, both in gold and silver variations, that featured the Statue of Liberty on them, and they made those, I would say, in the years between, the 1985 to the late, the early 1990s, right? They have very many variations of these Statue of Liberty MTB rounds, and MTB, I guess, commissioned many companies, including the big dogs, Engelhard and Matthey, and including the big dog, the Mexican Mint, OM. The OM stamp that you'll see on some pieces was actually, the OM stamp is actually the Mexican Mint. So MTB, Manfra Tordella Brookes, I think they're still even in operation. They had a lot of pieces produced featuring the Statue of Liberty on it, and one such piece was that whopping, super rare 10-ounce Matthey round, which Silverstruck was able to show in the original box, and that box actually looks something like this. And I've actually got two of those exact rounds, because that happens to be a product that I actually collect as well. And so I happen to, not have a huge amount, because they're extremely rare pieces. I happen to have two of them here in front of us, and so I thought, hey, let's take a look at both of them and see what the differences are between them. I mean, they're both still in the original case, and if you recall, if you haven't seen this video, then you should go watch it. But for those that did watch it, you will recall that round that he had, that 10-ounce silver round, JM Statue of Liberty round that Silverstruck had, it came in the original blue box just like this, and actually came with the original assay card, right? And so I wasn't fortunate enough actually to have both examples with the assay card, but let's take a look and see if there's any variations. On face value, they both kind of look the same on the outside. You got a blue case here, they look very consistent. Okay, so that is exactly how the case looks that Silverstruck has, and so I believe that the Matthey rounds, at least, were issued in these blue cases originally. So that's how they originally came. If you can find them with the blue case, wow, that's really awesome. Okay, now let's take a look at the actual round here. Here, we've got the Liberty. Okay, so it says Liberty right there, and we've got a beautiful condition round here. It's almost proof-like, this one looks like. Now, let's see if it is a proof. I mean, it looks like a proof. I mean, I've seen MTB rounds on the 1-ounce variety that are proofs, and you can definitely tell. Like, you can tell on a Prospector proof, you can tell on an MTB Liberty proof as well. And this looks very proof-like to me. I don't even recall properly if this is a proof or not, but if you take a look here, just like I believe on Silverstruck's here, it actually shows some etching. So you got the JM Hammer logo there on the side. It also says 999 10 ounce, and then here it's actually serialized. So this one happens to be A1828, and then here it says Liberty Trade Silver. So that's Manfra Tordella Brookes, is right there, MTB. MTB stands for Manfra Tordella Brookes, Liberty Trade Silver. These Statue of Liberty rounds are the Liberty Trade Silver pieces, and this happens to be copyright 1985, made in USA. This is a very, very informative round, I would say, along the etching. This is very, very cool. I actually love, like, the old Libertads, for example. Those always have etching around the edge, so I like the old Libertads. I even like old Mexican coins that have etching along the edge, even if not pure silver. Those just tickle my fancy, personally. I know people probably like Salivate Metal, also enjoy things like that, and I'm sure there's many people out there who enjoy etching on the side of the round, because that's very unique. That's very, very unique. That doesn't happen very often. Now, we haven't answered whether or not this is a proof, and I don't know if I'll be able to answer that, but let's take a look at the other side. It's a 1985 dated Statue of Liberty round, and on the back, we'll be able to get some additional, holy shish, information. This is actually a rare variation, the all languages variation of the 10-ounce Liberty round. It's a centennial, 1886, 1986. That's a centennial round, and it has Liberty written in many, many different languages. This is a round that you can find in the 1-ounce variation, and I've always paid an arm and a leg for that 1-ounce variation, and I sell it for an arm and a leg because I bought it for an arm and a leg. But gosh, I didn't even realize I have a 10-ounce variation of this all languages variation in the 10-ounce variety, and I don't think that I don't recall. I'm gonna have to go check back. I'm having a brain fart. I don't know if Silver Strux was the all languages variation, and I truthfully don't even know if this one is the all languages variation, because I bought these a long time ago, and I was like, dang, I'm never gonna come across these. I better grab these while I can. Now I'm glad we're comparing the two, and I'm glad I took out both, because I was just thinking, I'll take out one example, but these have different serial numbers, so that alone is worth comparing the two. So A1828 seems like a proof variation. It's very odd that it's a centennial round that has 1986 etched on the back, but then it says 1985 on the front. Now I have to compare my 1-ounce variation and see if that's consistent. But I know for sure that the 1-ounce variation that has the all languages on the back, I don't believe that has etching, any sort of etching along the side. And I'm not entirely sure if that's produced by JM, but now I'm thinking it probably is produced by JM, since JM produced the 10-ounce variation of the all languages. I was always not sure if the all languages 1-ounce variation was produced by JM or produced by the Mexican Mint, OM, but now I'm thinking the 1-ounce variation probably was also produced by JM, the more that I think about it. Interesting. I'm learning something about my pieces too. So I still have not been able to answer if this is a proof or not, but I can tell you it's a very, very nice, rare variation of a 10-ounce JM round, which is already a ridiculously rare round. Crazy. Now let's take a look at this one. This one comes with the assay card. And what's different about this is that this actually has, I'm not sure if all of them were issued this way, but take a look at this. This has like a plastic top that goes on top to kind of protect it. So I don't know if they were always issued with that and people just kind of threw that top away, but it looks like this one has a sort of top that it's perfectly molded to exactly fit on top of that. So it's specifically designed for this. So I'm thinking that these were initially issued with this sort of a top. Now this has the assay card, but this assay card also, just like Silver Strix assay card, I don't think it has any sort of a serial number on it. So it's just telling me what the series is, but it's not really, and it's telling me what the weight is. So I know that it is assigned for this, but it's not necessarily assigned to that same serial number. Now let's take a look here. A1838, and that one was A1828. So these are actually 10 serials away from each other, and take a look at that. This one is also an all languages one. So these are exactly the same type of round. I guess it's very much like a proof variation, because the 1985 proofs on the 1-ounce variation look like this, where the Liberty is a little bit extra frosty. Now if you take a look at this 10-ounce round, which is slightly different, this is still a 10-ounce round, but take a look at this. It's got a ribbed edge, first of all, and there's no markings along the outside edge of that round. And if you take a look at the front, look at that. It's totally not proof-like. Look at that Liberty. It's so much more faint looking. Okay, so in my opinion, these are both proof variations of the 10-ounce Liberty JM round, and I'm gonna have to check back. I wish I remembered, but we'll take a look, and maybe I'll just answer it in text here on the channel whether or not this is the same as Silver Strux. And if it's not, then it looks like we have two variations. If not, it looks like we have three of the same. Okay, either way, it's a very, very interesting find, because this, in my opinion, is going to be the JM one is going to be the proof. Now this is as you can see, is not a 1985 dated. This is a 1986 Centennial. Okay, and this is going to have a normal reverse here. This is what you're kind of probably used to seeing if you've ever seen a Liberty Trade round at all, because this is kind of like a typical round, like your Engelhards, your I believe, and your JMs as well have 1 ounce rounds that have reverses that look like that. Now this one in particular, I can tell you, is not a JM and not an Engelhard, because right there it's got the OM stamp, and like I said before, the OM stamp stands for the Mexican Mint. And as you can see, one thing that makes this stand out, over here it was a 999 silver, but over here the Mexican Mint always likes to one-up everybody, so all the Mexican Mint Liberty Trade pieces are 4/9 fine. So this one's marked here not with 3/9 fine, but with 4/9 fine right there on the piece. So 4/9 fine silver, 10 troy ounces, and this is your 1986 copyright MTB round with the OM stamp. So the 10 ounce variation, from my understanding, was produced in 1986 by the Mexican Mint, and also in 1985 proof variation by Johnson Matthey. So the proof variation's got a lot more kind of nuances to it. Also came in this original box. I'm not sure if these were originally issued in a box or not. And then what's even crazier as well is that I know that there's also a proof variation of the 87, but not in the 10 ounce variation. This is actually a thinner round. This is actually in the 5 ounce variation produced by the Mexican Mint. So it's very, very interesting, all of these sort of variations of the Liberty Trade. I mean, the standard ones, bars, rounds, those you can typically always find them on the silverbarstacker.com website, but the rarer variations, availability is scarce for some of those, because really there's not a whole lot of them out there. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this quick breakdown of some of the larger MTB rounds that are out there, and definitely check out Silverstruck and check out his round as well, and maybe give it a comparison to these two rounds that you see here as well. Take it easy, and this week I think we're going to probably take it a little bit easy, probably maybe call it quits on the auction and delay that for next week. I just want to get a little bit ahead on some inventory stuff that I need to do, so I'm going to be kind of doing a deep dive on inventory, seeing what we've got left. We're kind of running low on our fracks, and every week we try to do these sudden death fractional auctions, and so I want to make sure that I'm not overselling on some of my fractional products and some of my prospector rounds as well. We're getting low on. So typically we used to be able to sell prospectors by the tubes, and we are, but now the pricing is not going to be as competitive for full tubes and for bulk buys on even things like the prospectors, because for whatever reason I think vintage might be catching on, and that's okay. There's always going to be deals to be had, like particular dates we're able to offer for a better price. But it's very, very interesting how I'm noticing in the recent past that people are just buying up from all my wholesalers and stuff. People are just buying up all the stuff before I'm able to kind of get to it, and it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting phenomenon. So at any rate, hope you are able to check out the silverbarstacker.com website. We do have deals to be had at all times, and we will be back on the auctions probably next week. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. Cheers. Hey.